Hello, my name's Kevin Davis. I'm one of the product managers at CA Technologies with the IM 2.0 product. We're going to go over some short demonstrations where we're going to show you some of the key aspects of the new and advanced functionality that we built into the Performance Center. The Performance Center is a single pane of glass where you can manage your entire infrastructure from a single console. One of the key aspects of being able to manage your infrastructure in terms of troubleshooting and reporting is be able to quickly use the information that you receive as part of a troubleshooting scenario and be able to take that information and directly go into the product and start troubleshooting. So with that in mind, here at CA Technologies, we've built entry points into the Performance Center. The entry point is a starting point within the product where you can start troubleshooting or building a report to analyze your infrastructure. So for example, it's quite common for a user or a group of users to complain that the performance of the network or an application, a particular site, is having an issue. So in our key dashboards in the Performance Center, right out of the box, we have this notion of site views. So what a site is a special group within the Performance Center that you have defined as a site or a physical location, and you've populated with parts of your infrastructure that are important at that site. For example, it's routers, switches, servers, applications, phones. If you have a reported problem at a particular site, you can immediately start troubleshooting that problem by going directly to the site in the site view. So here, for example, if the Dallas outlet is being reported as a problem, I could directly drill in here and immediately start looking at the health of the network, the servers, and the applications at that site. Or if we had a complaint about the San Francisco site, we could do the same thing. Based upon the information that we receive, that is, a site is having an issue, we can immediately go into that site and start troubleshooting. This allows us to quickly triage an event and to decrease the mean time to repair. As an example of another entry point, if we go up here to the menu inventory, you'll see a number of entry points that we have in the product. For example, at the top of the list, devices. Quite often when one IT team is working with another, or when a customer is working with a service provider, they will have as their main complaint that a particular device is having an issue. For example, the server team is telling the network team that they suspect an access switch is not providing the connectivity to the server that they require. And so it's very easy for you to act upon that information as you've been given the name of the device by clicking here in the inventory menu and then drilling down immediately to devices. When you click on devices, you'll go down and you'll be given a list of all the names of the devices. You can go in and you can search on the names of devices if you wanted to. For example, I'm going to search on USTX, and it's going to show me all the devices that have that starting within their name. Another way in which I can search is I can back off this and just do a search across everything, is I can go and isolate a particular group that I've created within the PC administration and search for just devices within that group. So now, as you can see, my list of devices have been filtered to only show devices within the ticks change group. So let me back off that and go to all groups. And so now we're back where we are. So again, it's very easy to find a specific device so that you can go and troubleshoot and determine if there's a problem with a switch, for example, with interface errors, discards, or utilization. Other entry points we have here in the inventory menu, you could put in the information for an interface or a network. Or if you need to troubleshoot a particular application, you can drill down on the list of applications and be able to go in and take a look at the applications that are running. So all of these are very important entry points into the product where, based upon the information you have in hand, you can start troubleshooting it. Now, another thing that we have in the product, of course, which is highly visible, are top-in and deviation from normal views. What the top-in views do is they allow you to see your infrastructure in terms of the worst performers bubbling to the top. So for example, you can see here in the top performance by network, this is a view coming from our ADA appliance. We can see the worst performing networks within this infrastructure. We can scroll down, and after we see the time-based statistics for the network, we can see the number of incidences in terms of worst performers. And then we can take a look at other performance metrics from ADA, such as the top performance map by network. As we go down, we can also take a look at top interface utilization outbound and top interface utilization inbound. One of the things that we've done in the Performance Center, especially with our entry points, is we've tried to emphasize the most important, the most commonly used features, and we put them at the top or to the upper left-hand corner, or we put them first in order of the views. So for example, we have top interface utilization out, which is telling us the worst performing interfaces within our network in terms of the highest utilization. We have outbound first, and then we have inbound below it. And the reason for that is because network utilization is typically outbound. That is, on the inbound interface, you typically have one interface connected to one interface, and they're being clocked at the same rate. So a gigabit interface on one switch connected to a gigabit interface on the other switch, and so it's receiving at the rate in which it's being clocked at. So there's not a problem there with the input buffers being oversaturated and frames being dropped. However, on the outbound direction on the router or switch, you can have many of those inbound interfaces trying to send frames out the outbound interface. And when you have the oversubscription of many to one going out of the switch, that's where you can have buffer problems where the buffers become saturated and you start to have latency increases as the queue depth increases, and you start to have frame drop or packet drop because the interface buffers fill up and they no longer can queue incoming frames destined for the interface. So all of these are important entry points into the product that allow our users to quickly take the information in hand and troubleshoot. Quite often troubleshooting, the first question is, which way do I go? Well, in our product, we have 5 to 6 entry points that highlight the most common starting points in troubleshooting so that you can start from the information in hand and start troubleshooting and head in the right direction immediately right off the bat. Again, these features are out of the box and ready to go.